Hi everyone in 1301. Here is another video that's just going to briefly kind of walk through where to go and what to do in D2L. So just kind of a general look at where to go and what to do in our class. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a class in 1301. It may not be your class. It's okay. It's all the same. It's all general, so don't worry too much about that. This is what your D2L class should generally look like. I want you to note that the announcements area is going to be pretty important for our classes because that is where if anything ever changes or if there are ever any updates that I need you to be aware of, I'm going to post them right here. Okay, so that's kind of my instant communication with y'all. On the home screen as well, this is our class home screen, right? I want you to also note that this is where you have some quick links at the top. So if you click on the little envelope icon, that is where you'll go for not only email, right, but also instant messages. So remember that instant messages is where we partly will meet for online office hours depending on the day. Either it's WebEx or instant messages. So if you click on instant messages, a window will pop up. It looks like this. Okay, and you can search for my name here. It should show that I'm online. This is where you'll see your messages. You can search the class list and find my name. So this is just kind of a chat feature, right? So if you have a quick question during office hours or if you plan a question, you can always meet me here. Or you can, of course, send me an email. So I want to walk through the email application for D2L just because it can be a little clunky. D2L is not perfect. It doesn't have a lot of functionality, or it's not very intuitive sometimes. So if I click on email, it will look pretty familiar to any of you that use email regularly. So if you click on compose, right, so this is all of your email. If you click on compose, a window will pop open, okay? And what I want you to know is that the easiest way to send an email is to know the person's name that you're sending an email to. Because if you don't, you'll have to use the address book, and believe me, it is such a pain. You have to click on various things. It's just not very user-friendly. So if you know my first or last name, you can start typing it. So my first name is Erin, right? And then it will populate, right? If you click on this, it will auto-populate the address. So again, it's important to know the name of the person. So if you're working in groups or things of that down the line in the future in the semester, just make sure you're paying attention to people's names so that if you need to send them an email or even meet them on the instant message feature, it's going to be a lot easier if you know their name. Okay, I want you to note that the subject line is auto-populated right here, and what that means is it's already filled in, right? So with subject lines, we want to make sure that it gives your receiver, right, typically me, an idea of what class you're in and what your question is. Okay, so I don't mind having one that's just generally auto-populated, but you know, it's nice to add something. So you can take some of this off and say, okay, English 1301, class section number, and then maybe you have your first week email, right? That's an assignment. So go back and look at the other videos, right? So then, you know, you just start typing, do your thing. So do your Dr. E. Y'all, when you're sending emails to professors, it's not a bad thing to be as professional, right, as possible. So offer an introduction or a greeting, right? That's a greeting. Then type in, you know, your information here. And then offer some sort of closing, like take care. That's my typical one. Or you can just say sincerely, and then type your name here, right? I receive a lot of emails from a lot of students, so this helps me so much because I like to keep my email organized. If you put your name and information in there, it's really helpful, and it's something that is an expectation in sending emails, either in the professional world or, of course, in academia, right? So just keep that in mind when you're reaching out to your professors, right? Once you're done, if you need to attach anything ever, you can upload and use the different options here. Click send, okay, and then it will go straight to my inbox. If you are concerned, especially if it's an assignment email, if you're concerned that it was sent, just go over here to the sent mail folder and you can see if it was sent, right? I want you to know that for me, if I receive emails from students, I typically respond. Right, so I'll either send a quick response that says, hey, thanks, I received this, or if you have a specific question, I'll work to answer it. If you don't receive a response from me within about 48 hours, chances are it either didn't go through fully or for some reason I have overlooked it. So don't be hesitant to reach out again. That's okay. You're not bothering me. This is part of how we communicate, right? So don't worry too much about that. Okay, so if we go back to just the general class area, I want you to know yours, again, it's going to look a little different because I'm in my own view, and as a student you're going to have a bit of a different view, so it might look something more like this, okay, which doesn't look very different, but the options up here are a little bit different as well. So I want you to note that these are the different areas where you can go, right? So in addition to the announcements, I want you to keep in mind that content is going to be an important area. So if you click on content, if you have the overview button selected, this is where I just put my contact information. If in a pinch you need to remember when the office hours are and you don't want to open up the syllabus, you can review that information here. If office hours change for whatever reason, I will update that here. I want you to note that there's also a document for North Harris resources. So remember, you need to have your pen or pencil handy to take down some questions that you'll need to answer in the email. So hit pause, go grab that, grab the questions from the previous videos. So by my count, this should be question number 4, okay? So what I want you to think about is what are some of the resources available at North Harris. So click on this link, look at the document, and just generally offer me, like, what's a resource? You know, what's one of the things listed there? I would really love for you to take your time to go through and see those options. Of course, some of our on-campus options are not physically open right now, but you can email and get in touch that way. So I just want you to have kind of a quick place to go to find this information, okay? I will always keep an updated version of the syllabus here. So we have the first 2 weeks in the document that you have. I will update that accordingly. There's also a copy of the discussion post rubric, which is also included in the week 1 area, but it will always be housed here as well. And this is also where I will post any additional course readings, right? So most of our readings are going to come from the course text that I mentioned previously, but some of them are going to be outside of that, but I'll always supply those for you. And you can print those out for yourself, or you can just view them online if you don't have access to a printer, whatever works for you. Okay, so that is the overview area. And then there's also the table of contents where every week I will have the assignments for that week, right? So any of the videos, any of the discussion posts, any new rubrics, anything that you need for that week, I will put in the weekly area of the table of contents. So if you take a quick glance, this is not completely updated, so don't worry. I'm not finished with putting everything in here, but it has the syllabus walkthrough, it has the rubric, and then it has links to our different discussion posts. Okay, so this is just where you need to go to do everything for a particular week. As a student, you should see, you know, check marks next to the things that you've done or looked at, and that can be really helpful because sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming. You have quite a bit to do on your plate for every single class, so just know that this kind of provides you with an idea of where you've been and what you've done. But I'm going to also provide you with some ways to keep on top of your weekly stuff in the future. Okay, so that is the content area, whether it is the specific week or that overview section. Okay, if I'm going back to the main page, another way that you can get to those different discussion boards is in the collaboration drop down. Okay, so if you drop that down and click on discussions, this is where you can go if you have a question. I really urge you to, if you have a question related to the course, post your question here. It's a free space, so if you're a student and you see somebody's question and you know the answer, respond to that person, right? I'll be in there frequently so I can add any information or details, or I can, you know, update something. But this is a good way for everybody to get those answers, because chances are if you have that question, right? Somebody else is going to have the question as well, okay? So the Q&A is right here, and then you have the different weeks, right? So you have your week 1 writing journal and reading response. So I'll usually offer an instructional video for every week that walks through those discussion posts and what the requirements are. So we're just kind of walking through and seeing D2L, okay? So just as a reminder, collaboration is also, this isn't a reminder, this is new information. Also, that's where the WebEx option is. So I have the instant message online office hours, but if you're more into kind of that face-to-face and you want to have a video conference, if you click on WebEx, it will take you to that feature. Some of you may be familiar with WebEx, some of you maybe not. It's like Zoom, it's just a little bit more secure, and it's within, we have it housed within D2L, so it just means you don't have to go to a bunch of different places for this class. Everything is together. Okay, so when it comes time for the office hours, so right now I have Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. set aside for office hours. When it's time for that, you'll see the option to join the room. Okay, and you can go in and we can talk, address any questions that you may have. This is in the future also going to be how you and I will hold consultations. So down the line, when we're working on our final paper, you and I will meet one-on-one to discuss your paper draft. It's just, I'm another set of eyes. It's just like peer review. It's just with me. So you'll want to get used to this notion of WebEx and play around with it. I do, however, y'all, want you to note that I'm still trying to figure out how to offer the same time for every course. So it may require that I actually update the time that the WebEx office hours are. So it may not be 12 to 1 p.m. for your class. It may have to be at a different time. In one of the previous videos and in the email, I asked you to consider what are the best times for office hours for you. If my office hours, as stated on the syllabus, don't work that well, then let me know when. I can't guarantee that the office hours will change according to what your schedule is, but we can always make an appointment, right? You can always request an appointment to meet with me on instant messages at a different time or during a WebEx appointment at a different time. So, just some things to keep in mind, right? I know this is a lot of information at once, so it's okay. Just digest it, let it marinate a little bit, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so this is WebEx. I'm going to go back to our course area. Okay, I want you to note that there is a calendar here. I am not putting, I'm not closing the discussion posts until that 24-hour grace period is over, so you won't see any of those due dates here. So the calendar is going to become more important for, say, our reading journals when those are due. You'll see the due date and time here just to serve as a reminder. When something like that is due, that requires you to upload a document of some sort, that's where you'll go to course activities. Okay, course activities is where you'll upload documents in the assignments area. There's nothing right now, right? And I'll walk through this when it is time. You'll upload a document, submit it, and then I can grade it and return it to you with my feedback. But this is just generally where you go. So remember, from the main page, course activities, assignments. You'll also be able to see your grades by clicking the grades link. Nothing is posted there just yet, but it's just something to keep in mind as we go through this semester. I will do my best to keep those grades updated in a timely manner, but for an online course, it can take some time. And I am teaching quite a few courses. So if something's due on Wednesday, you're not going to see the grades on Thursday. So just keep that in mind that it does take some time. But you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. So I think that's generally, where to go and what to do in D2L. In another video, I'm going to go and walk through everything for week 1. So just keep an eye out for that because there are more questions that you'll need to answer and email me about. All right, y'all, we're almost there, right? Take a break, go get some food, some drink, and we'll come back to it.